Okay, so for this workshop, I think it would be really important to just go through like the four C's because you can really implement that in any subject that you're going to talk about throughout the workshop. So it could be just the 21st century skills or to be digitally literate, and it also goes along with the standards. And then I would like to talk about like being adaptable and trying something new so that you could use that as like an encouragement to your teachers or whoever you're giving this presentation to. So to start with communication, it's really important for other teachers to communicate with others and like other colleagues, and you can really take advantage of like going online. So communication and collaboration kind of go hand in hand because the more you collaborate and communicate with other teachers and like learn what goes well, learn what doesn't go well, like learn different ways that you could teach different things to make sure that you are like really finding the best possible way and not just going the easy route for your students. And so by communicating with other teachers and with people, if you're using it online or face to face, like you can honestly find any resources or information or advice. And so that can really help you like take that skill and implement it in the classroom. So the more you communicate with others in your environment, the more you're going to know how to promote your students to communicate with each other because you'll see how important and helpful it is. And that kind of goes along the same lines with collaboration. So really like working with other people is going to allow you to see that working with other people and getting other people's ideas rather than just yourself is really going to allow you to like break through and find the most effective ways, and you're going to want to implement that skill in your classroom as well because when kids work with others they tend to find different solutions and better solutions rather than just like the easy way. And so the more you allow them to collaborate, the better they're going to be. And that kind of goes into the critical thinking. So you'll notice that all of these kind of trickle down into each other. So critical thinking, you need to provide the students and yourself with like challenges. Challenge yourself, like work through it. Like you shouldn't be presenting your students or yourself with challenges or problems that you already know the solution to. And if you do, like you could even like go down in creativity and like get creative with it. Like give them an assignment that like they can only use like four like four materials to like build something really elaborate, and like that will allow them to use your head. And you could even use that as an exercise in your workshop to promote this critical thinking, or like give them a long-term problem that they have to come up with like a short-term solution to, if that makes sense. And then creativity, go be bold, like be out of the ordinary when you're teaching and like when you're getting things ready for your classroom and finding ways to teach things, because the more you're creative the more you're going to want your students to be creative, because you don't want to look at work that's boring and like you don't want your students to be bored by your work. So be creative. And the most important thing about being like digitally literate and like finding things online, like using those in your classroom, you need to be adaptable. Like there's so many changes, like even like the software that we're using now in the next like year or so, it's going to be like maybe obsolete, or like something bigger and better will be here. So it's just like so important for teachers and also for your students to be adaptable for what's going to happen. And kind of what I was saying earlier, like trying something new, challenge your teachers, like challenge yourself, challenge your students to like try something new. Like if you don't know a certain like software online or like social networking site, go on and like figure it out. Like nothing is nothing is harder than not knowing what to do, and like it's just so much easier if you're open-minded and willing to try those things new, because it's going to be so much easier to become digitally literate and like more adaptable to things if you're willing to try. And that's also going along with like state standards and stuff. All of these are, because kids need to be able to communicate, collaborate, critical think, creativity, even from like grades K through 12, and even in college, like they're going to be utilizing these skills. So it's better to teach them young.